Hello, I made a video about how to do audio to MIDI in Reaper, and a lot of people requested how to do this with drums. So yes, that's what I'm gonna show you today. These are live drums and they sound like this. And in the mids. And our goal today is to trigger the kick and snare using MIDI. But first we have to convert all of these peaks into MIDI for this to work. So there's two methods that we can use. The first method is native. You don't have to install anything. It's the way I've been doing it for a lot of years. And the second method is with a script that I very much love, and it just speeds up the process. So we got the snare in here. And let's turn this into MIDI. So I would right click the track and select duplicate track. I would usually just get rid of all of the effects. We're just gonna turn this into MIDI. And I'm gonna color this track differently just so you can see the difference. And I'm gonna call it snare trigger. The first thing you need to add to this track is this JS audio to MIDI drum trigger. So this plugin turns transients into a MIDI note that you can set in here. You can set the open threshold and the close threshold until it just triggers whatever you want. But in order to hear this working, we need a sampler. And so we're gonna add Reapertips. Let's do this plugin. So in here, we need to add the sample that we want to use to reinforce or replace our snare. In this case, I'm gonna reinforce it with the snare trigger. So I'm just gonna click and drag it into this. And now I have to make sure that my mode is in sample. Ignore MIDI note. And if we want velocity, we can set it right here by setting the minimum volume. That way you get dynamics. However, since this is a one shot, I'm just gonna leave it at that. So this should trigger. So now I'm gonna raise the open threshold until I hear just the snare trigger going. No sound. There's the sound. One trick that you can do to make this even simpler is going into the actions menu and searching for transient detection. And this little window is very helpful to see the threshold. So for example, if you have a snare with a lot of bleed and stuff, you may want to adjust this until you just get the snare peaks. If you check the spots, you can see the threshold as you move it. So I will put it over here. So I think this is a good threshold. So we're gonna pretty much copy this threshold and paste it in here. That should give us a better result. And then we can adjust the retrigger interval if you find that it's triggering many times. Like that. I'll just put it like something safe like this. So once you find the settings, one thing I like to do is right click on this and apply track take effects to item as a new take MIDI output. So this is pretty much gonna give me the MIDI of my performance in here. So this way I can actually adjust that if I see something that is missing or something that doesn't need triggering. So for example, I don't want one shots here. And one trick that you can do is pressing E, and this will open up the inline editor, and I can select all of these and just get rid of them. And if you find one of the hits is way too early or late, you can also adjust that in here. Another thing to check is the phase, and playing that at the same time with your original sample. And then check this phase button and see which one sounds best. In this case, no need to check this. I think this one sounds best. So yeah, this thing works super well. And if you want to commit to this even more, you can right click on it and select apply track take effects, mono output. And this should give you the final peaks. Let me show you a little trick to check phase in the case that you want to phase align things. So you're gonna create a track just above the snare and the snare trigger. And we're gonna select our snare and snare trigger and move this into this folder. So we're gonna create a folder with these two tracks pretty much. And now we have this beautiful waveform in here that we can use as a guide to see if our things are aligning well. This one is pretty decent, and sometimes you might find that it's slightly early or late, and you can adjust it by holding Alt and moving it like this, and using the waveform above to check your phase. So yeah, something like this should work really well. And most of these are good, but you will find that in the kick drum, you might have to do a lot of manual tweaking. Okay, lastly, we need to blend in this snare trigger until it just sounds right in the mix. So the snare trigger, volume all the way down. I'm gonna play this and gonna increase the volume until it just feels right. So let's go. Gonna make this loop. Okay, here's without the trigger. And with the trigger. It just adds a little bit of weight and impact to the snare, which is really cool. And now let's go with the second method, and it's using MKSlicer. And this is an amazing script that you can get via Repack. I'll leave it the instructions in the description. So let's do that with the kick. We don't need to create a new track or anything. We just need to load the script into this. However, let me clean this up a bit. I'm gonna just show this track so you can see what's going on better. Okay, we got our kick, and it sounds like this. So let's load MKSlicer. Again, the description below, there's instructions for this. So I'm gonna run this. It's gonna process and give me pretty much a pretty good result right away. This thing is amazing. I need to make a whole video about MKSlicer because there's just so many things that you can do with this. I love about this is how you can pretty much treat it as a player. You can press in here or in here and it's just gonna start playing from there. So it's in own timeline and it's gonna always sync to your Reaper timeline. So if I move this by holding my mouse wheel and dragging, I can go through here like this and it's always gonna loop. You see, it's making a time selection and looping where I want it. So for example, I can just loop this 3 hits and I can make sure that things are working well. So yeah, that's how the player works. So this area is what you're gonna use to set the markers. The red waveform, this thing, is pretty much reflecting the filter. So for example, if you make a lot of high cuts, you're not gonna see so many of these peaks. The red waveform is pretty much what you're gonna get. The blue waveform is the original signal. So for the kick drum, we actually want very low one like this. So this is a good position to place the kick drum to avoid phase issues the most. And now for the threshold, we can move it until it just gets the peaks. And what I love about this is that you can scroll and keep looking. If you see that something is missing, for example, you can just right click and it will place a marker in there. And you can keep scrolling through this very fast. Just a spectacular job, honestly. It's very good. I'm a huge fan of this. All of these hits are very nice and very well positioned. Okay, I just went through all of them and got a pretty good result, honestly. So what we can do now is set in this mode to trigger. And you can set the note that you want to use for your kick drum. And I usually use C2, so that's fine. I don't know if you noticed, but there's these little dots at the top. And that means the velocity range that you can set in here. It pretty much gonna calculate how hard the hit is based on the peaks or based on RMS. I usually leave it at peak. So once it's ready, I'm gonna click this MIDI button in here and it's gonna give me all of my MIDI in a new track. So I'm gonna name this kick trigger. And once again, I'm gonna color this differently. And you can see all of my kick drums are in here. And if I find that I need to adjust the timing of one of them, for example, this one is slightly late, I'll just put it in there. It's a good way to make sure that things are phase aligned. So most of these are okay. So let's just roll with that. Let's play the two together. So they should sound like this. Wait a minute, I don't have a sampler. This should sound like this. And now with our kick, Let's see how it sounds with the face button. Okay, that's a huge difference, but it sounds better without this. But once again, if you're actually committing to this, I will go ahead and make sure that every kick is aligned. It's a annoying process, but it just gives you the best results and most consistent kick. But if you're actually replacing the kick, then that's okay. You don't need to do that. But if you're reinforcing or just adding multiple kicks together, always check your face. Let's now blend this with the other tracks in our session. Put this back to normal, volume all the way down, and something like that works really well. So let's hear it without it. Now with our kick trigger. Okay, this sounded weird. So I'm just gonna get rid of this. Yeah, the advantage of having this printed is whenever it just sounds weird, you can just get rid of the one-shots in there. For example, this one. Yeah, I don't need the one-shot in there. So mostly for the big hits, honestly. So yeah, that should look good. So yeah, that's it. That's how I usually do live drums to MIDI. And hope that was helpful. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.